What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video I wanted to try a very cool and unique double water type team here for the single type cup, pairing it with a Shadow Kanto Ninetales. Now what's really cool about the synergy that we have with this team is the Kanto Ninetales absolutely destroys the Charmers, the fairy type Pokemon in this meta, along with the Steels. And then the Milotic there in the back has Dragon Tail as a fast move, which shreds apart the Dragonairs. And we also have a beautiful triple legacy Seaking save swap, which can get a shield advantage and has fantastic coverage. Overall, this team was really strong for me, and I went 9-1 with it. Alright, getting into the first battle here, we have Ninetales on the lead versus Politoed. So, obviously a tough matchup. We're going to go ahead and safe swap into the Seaking, as it is going to be the safe swap on this team. Now, we do need to watch out for whatever they bring in, and whatever they do bring in, we typically want to Icy Wind them because it's going to apply that attack debuff and it could force shield. So we do get the attack drop right there. This instantly makes Seaking a lot tankier, and because they decided to shield, I feel safe to shield this first Shadow Ball, because now the next one after this second Icy Wind is not going to do nearly as much damage, and Seaking could potentially flip this mid-game matchup. Now, Icy Wind isn't a lot of damage, as you guys saw right there, so they might be able to survive the next one. And thankfully, since Drill Run is the same amount of energy and I can survive because of the attack debuffs, we're going to go for Drill Run here to try to KO the Cofagrigus and flip this mid-game matchup, which we do. Perfect. Now the Politoed comes back in, and Milotic can come in and do a lot of neutral damage with Dragon Tail. So we're able to take switch advantage, and good thing that we did, because there is a Shadow or a normal Grand Bull in the back with Charm, and the Ninetales here is going to make quick work of it. This is what's beautiful about Kanto Ninetales. If you guys haven't been using it, it's awesome in Open Great League, but its typing here in the single type cup is perfect for the Steels and Fairies, which are very common. Now, Weather Ball is enough to take us out, obviously, but Milotic here, and I thought I didn't really track the energy well. I am going to shield, but it is just going to be Weather Ball. Now, some Politoads could have Blizzard, right? And this looks to be just a Weather Ball Blizzard Politoed, so they're going to opt to go for as many Weather Balls as they can. Doesn't do too much damage. We just need to get to 2 surfs here in order to win. Now, I do have this Milotic is single moved. I didn't want to spend too much Stardust to make this team, as I already had the Ninetales and the Seaking powered up. But if you guys want to unlock a second charge move, by all means go for it. Maybe look to add that Hyper Beam in there for the heavy hitting charge move, right? All right, good game. All right, we got Ninetales now versus Cofagrigus here on the lead. So we'll have to see what they decide to do, as I'm going to look to stay in, and they decide to come in with Lickitung here. So Lickitung safe swap, I'm trying to read, okay, what could be in the back. It's most likely going to be something else weak to fighting type Pokemon. So the options we have here are stuff like Registeel, Umbreon, maybe even Vigoroth, but typically going to be another Pokemon weak to fighting type moves. So what I'm going to do is keep loading up on energy with the Ninetales here, keep going for Weather Balls, and then swap into Seaking now, because I am concerned that there could be a Registeel. So I'm going to go ahead and swap in, and they don't get to the charge move in time, which allows me to Poison Jab down. So we got the Lickitung out of the game. Cofagrigus is coming back in, and we win the race here to Icy Wind, which is obviously going to make Seaking a lot tankier. Now, we might not get a shield here, but we do, which is beautiful. I'm going to take it. See, Icy Wind doesn't do that much damage. I don't think shielding this early is a good call for their side, but they decide to swap out now, and it sure enough was a Vigoroth in the back, and we do get to the Icy Wind in time, which is perfect. Now, what you're going to see here is Milotic putting in work. It is so tanky, especially with the Icy Wind debuffs on a Vigoroth. That Dragon Tail here is just going to shred through the Vigoroth, and we should be able to take this game with the Ninetales, as Body Slam doesn't do that much damage. The counters adding up along with Body Slams, right, are slowly going to get the Milotic down. But in all honesty, this is a Vigoroth with loaded energy, and we are able to really hang on where we might be able to survive another one. So I'm going to go ahead and look to go for Surf here, and we'll have to see if they decide to give up a shield. If they do, it's basically a checkmate situation. If they decide to shield, we can easily come in with the Ninetales, but we're ahead on energy, I believe, so we should be able to get to 2 Weather Balls in time. The reason why I said a checkmate, if they shield, then I farm down with Ninetales and Overheat, or in this situation, if they don't, I go for double Weather Ball and I win anyways. So I'm going to go ahead, because they have to throw a charge move in order to take me out. So now I should be able to get to this next one in time, and that is going to be a good game. They can't commit to the full farm down to have a charge move on the back end, and we win the CMP tie. So that is going to be a good battle. This team, it's a sleeper. I think Milotic really impressed me today. Obviously, Seaking did what Seaking does, and Ninetales covered what it needed to. Now we have a Ninetales mirror fight, Shadow versus Shadow, so I'm actually going to swap out right away into Seaking to get ahead on energy, because of the name of the game with this team is the shield advantage later on. Now they decide to swap in a Muck, which you and I both know this is dangerous coming into a triple legacy Seaking, because these drill runs do an incredible amount of damage. It doesn't matter if you have Thunder Punch here. Now, I'm going to have to give up 2 shields. This is the unfortunate thing about this Seaking safe swap against a poison, is our fast moves don't do enough damage to be able to farm down quickly, right? Because it is going to be resisted. So I will have to double shield to take switch advantage, but I should be able to get 2 shields on the back end. There's a lot of energy here on Seaking, so if they come back in with the Ninetales, we should be able to get back-to-back drill runs and then put the Milotic onto the Ninetales. Now, I do need to worry about a potential Solar Beam, right? That could be a threat, but I don't think they'll have it. A lot of Ninetales don't. Now I can get to another drill run as well. I decided to go for drill runs instead of Icy Wind, because where I could potentially lose is if they no-shield, right? And I don't need the debuff on Icy Wind, because they're going to swap out of Milotic anyways. That's why I went for straight drill run. Now they decided to undercharge that, so I swapped right away to draw out the Clefable. And we can just go for Surfs here. And this is still going to be a good game. Remember, Milotic resists Meteor Mash. It does take neutral damage from Moonblast. And the Dragon Tails, unfortunately, are resisted. But we can hang on right here. They have to go for Moonblast. If they go, they should be going for Moonblast right here. Yeah, they go for Moonblast. We are able to hang on and get to another Surf, but I instead decide to not throw it. I make them want to throw their energy to take us out. If they would have gotten to the farm down, then I would have thrown the Surf. But the reason being is I want to come in with Ninetales and farm down. We resist Moonblast and Meteor Mash right here. So I can easily, unless they have Psychic, right? They could have Psychic. But I'm going to let this go. It is going to be Moonblast. Still does a good amount of damage, but now in the mirror fight, we're ahead on energy and we have the overheat. And it doesn't matter if this is resisted. This is a Shadow versus Shadow Kanto Ninetales. Boom! See ya! And now we swap back into the Seaking to poison jab down the Clefable. That is going to be a good game. All right, we got Ninetales versus Granbull. Shadow Granbull here on the lead. So that is a very, very nice lead for us. We will see them swap out right away into Machamp, so I'm going to come in with the Seaking right here. And this is that matchup where we just want to go straight Icy Winds and slowly debuff the Machamp while also having to be the first ones to shield, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for Icy Wind. If they decide to let this go, obviously we take out Machamp, take switch, but most likely they are going to be shielding, which they don't. I'm like, okay. Had they shielded, right, I just shield myself and then commit to the farm down right there. But now we have a 1-2 shield. They come in with Shadow Granbull. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of energy, but I can survive long enough to get to the Icy Wind, which is perfect because now we get that shield anyways here from Shadow Granbull, and we apply that attack debuff. So now we're going to come in with the Ninetales and look to farm down. I will give up a final shield here. I don't care if the Granbull was debuffed. This is going to hurt no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and shield. And the final Pokemon was a Ninetales, so I go ahead and swap into the Milotic, and they decide to surrender right there. So that is going to be a good battle. Very well played. All right. This team was quite impressive, to be honest. It was really cool to see the synergies that they had. All right, we got Umbreon here on the lead. So kind of, Umbreon's a Pokemon that we can handle on this team, but you just got to get the damage on it early. And so what I'm going to look to do is go for Overheat. If they decide to shield, then I swap into Seaking, so I clear the attack debuff on myself because Overheat applies an attack drop on yourself, as you guys will see here. And it's because it just does so much damage that it needs to like balance it out. But we land the Overheat, and I'm going to go ahead and swap out now into Seaking. Sorry, at the beginning, I swap out either way to clear the debuff because I am concerned there could be Fairy-type Pokemon in the back. So we go ahead and swap out. They bring in a Grimer, and now I'm thinking what you're thinking. There's probably double poison in the back. It's going to be Grimer and Muck, most likely a pretty common backline core that we do see, and the Drill Run just makes quick work of it. Now, they're looking to commit to the farm down, and thankfully, because they do, it gives me a free opportunity now to go for the Icy Wind to apply that attack debuff and get this shield. So this is the win-win situation for us. We landed the damage, we got the debuff, and we got a shield, and they're likely going for Mud Bomb here against the Ninetales, which means I'm going to bring in the Milotic and soak that damage because it's not going to do anything to me. They had to blind throw because Ember would have taken them out. Dragon Tail makes quick of work of them as well. There's going to be, sure enough, a Muck in the back. Now, there is still the Umbreon that we have to deal with, but we do have 2 shields and a healthy Milotic, which we are able to put pressure now with Surf. And now they're going to look to go for Thunder Punches here. It could be Acid Spray. No, it is going to be Thunder Punches. So now we just got to get to another Surf in time in order to win this game, which we should be able to right here. And then I can safely let the charge move go through on my Milotic because there is a foul play still on the Umbreon in the back. They decide to bring it in instead, which is fine by me. I can safely let this go and close this game out with Ninetales and Ember because the Muck does not have back-to-back charge moves. So we should be able to just fast move down right here as we going to go ahead and shield, and I think they're still like 2-3 fast moves away from another Thunder Punch, so 2 Embers should be able to do it. There was 1 when they did the charge move and 2 right there to finish them off, so that is going to be a good game. Alright, moving into the next one, we have Ninetales on the lead versus Donphan. So this is pretty interesting, really cool Pokemon right here. Counter and Body Slam are really going to start adding up, so I will be forced to shield early, unfortunately. I don't want to lose too much health here on the Ninetales because I'm suspecting that it might be a good opportunity to have a win con in the back, but they made a great safe swap, and they swap into Seaking to catch the charge move. So now I need to overload on energy right here, and then swap into my Milotic and look to go for the hard Dragon Tail farm down against Seaking, as we will be hit with a Mega Horn. I was not expecting that. I was expecting Drill Runs and Icy Wind, right? But a Mega Horn, my goodness. Now, I risk it here. I decide to shield because I figure, you know what, I can get a shield on the back end versus Donphan with the Surf. I can't get to 2. I don't have back-to-back, unfortunately, and they did get a counter through right there. So we will go down. Actually, if I had back-to-back, I would have gotten it. But now we need to come in with the Ninetales, look to go for Weather Ball right away because I overloaded that energy against the Seaking, and then we're going to swap out to catch the charge move on our own Seaking here. That way we keep our Ninetales alive just in case they have something that it hard counters in the back. So Body Slam will land, but we should be able to farm down, and they do have a Muck in the back. So this is interesting right here because now I'm just going to go straight Drill Runs. I think my Lose Con is going for Icy Wind, and they no-shield. So Drill Run is the guaranteed move, and they no-shielded it. Pretty surprised, if I'm being honest. I think I may have gotten into their head. Maybe they could also not be aware that Seaking does have Drill Run. But unfortunately, my only win con was going straight Drill Run, right? Because they shielded, it's game over. But if I go for Icy Wind and they think I could get to back-to-back Drill Runs, yeah, I don't know, because they're the same energy. So I think that's just a misplay on my opponents. I probably should have lost that game. All right, we got Granbull here on the lead. Very positive lead for us, and the fact that they are staying in tells me they are weak in the back. And if you see a Granbull staying into your Ninetales, you 100% need to keep your Ninetales alive because they have a Registeel in the back. That is just a fact. Now, they swap into Hitmonchan, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Seaking right here. We will get pressured here with Thunder Punch, but we do have 2-to-1 shields already, so we are safely able to shield the Thunder Punch right there, and then look to go for the Drill Run in order to take them out. The Icy Wind I don't think does enough neutral damage, but Drill Run should be able to, so we get a shield there, and now they're going to look to try to flip this matchup, and I think keeping shields is more important than taking switch advantage. Because the Granbull in the back has some good amount of energy. And if I come in with my Milotic and load up, I should be able to get to a Surf against them. Now, this is the tough call because I'm going to get hit with the Thunder Punch. Like, this is going to hurt, but I'm going to let it go because I'm reading that there's still a Registeel in the back, but it's actually, I decided to swap in, and it was going to be the Granbull that came in right away because I have energy saved on my Milotic. And let's see what is in the back. No, it was a Rapidash. That is not what I was expecting. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Overheat right here. Granted, looking back at this, I should have gone for a few more fast moves before throwing, because now you can see I wasn't able to KO them, and they have energy. So, I was completely 100% reading Registeel in the back, but it was not. It was a Rapidash, which is pretty cool. So hats off to my opponent. I danced around that game 100% reading Registeel, and I got caught for it and made a couple misplays, but that's okay. All right, we got Cofagrigus here on the lead. So once again, somewhat of a decent lead for us, especially with the damage that we can output. I'm going to go ahead and shield. The Kanto Ninetales, you want to utilize it as much as you can, because it's going to be the hardest hitting Pokemon on your team. Now we have the Dragonair swap in, and this is where Dragon Tail just puts in so much work for you. In most situations, you should be able to survive the Body Slam and then farm down. Now this gets very close, but we are able to farm down right there. We have the Surf ready to go. I think I have no, I don't have back-to-back. I only have enough for one, and they have a Registeel in the back. So this is perfect. We have the Kanto Ninetales with a lot of energy. They will be able to farm us down, but we have so much energy here on Ninetales that we are just going to put a lot of pressure on them. Unfortunately for them, Registeel does not like seeing the Kanto Ninetales. So we're going to go ahead and look to load up. We don't want to be forced to shield here, so I want to try to keep putting pressure with shields by throwing these Weather Balls, so we do get a shield, and I'm going to swap into Seaking as they do swap into Cofagrigus at the same time. Now we win the race to Icy Wind, which is crucial because that's going to apply that attack debuff and allow our Seaking to survive. But we also got to remember Registeel has a lot of energy in the back. So what we're going to look to do here is we're going to go ahead and shield the Shadow Ball, because I think I can win the race to the next charge move, but unfortunately I don't. I was miscounting and I was one behind right there. So now the Shadow Ball will land, and I'm going to be forced to throw Icy Wind here. And Registeel is low enough where I think I can get to a charge move against it before it can farm me down, which is looking to be the case. They're going to be forced to shield now. Had they had more health, maybe, but unfortunately for them, Registeel does not have low energy charge move, so I can easily Ember down, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. This team was a ton of fun to use, and it was able to go 9-1 with it. Very, very fun team. Ninetales, Milotic, and Seaking, and I think the synergies that we had there with the Seaking, with Poison Jab, Icy Wind, and Drill Run, the Dragon Tail as well for Dragonairs and Water Pokemon. Water Pokemon doing neutral damage, right? And then the Kanto Ninetales really carrying it with damage against the meta. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.